Welcome, fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. It's another joy of unboxing, and today it's Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. Yes, it's another one of Games Workshop's board games. They're churning them out at a great rate these days. They're ridiculously expensive, but you do get lots and lots of very high quality figures in them. I believe there's about 50, well, in fact, there's 51 of them in this set. The price is crazy, but this does get good reports and everyone says it's a fun dungeon crawler. It's not like the original Warhammer Quest, even though it shares the same name. It's got new systems, but it looks quite enjoyable. So let's have a look inside, just us, this joy of unboxing Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. Rip off that shrink wrap. Whoop, knock the camera. And have a look. And as you can see, it's chock full to the gunnels of plastic miniatures. Well, when I say chock full, there's not really that many when you look at it. There's 2 sprues here, and there's 2 semi-sprues here and that. Not quite as much as one could have hoped for. They're actually quite small figures, a lot of these. Little familiars and things like that that don't take up much space. There's not a lot of plastic there, really, is there? Anyway, I should stop grumbling. Let's move on. I'll have a closer look at these in a moment. There are your bases. Now I've got a nice thick guidebook. It's even wrapped in shrink wrap. We've got some player character cards. Some large format cards here, a generous amount of dice, some small cards, and finally, a few more bases there, and finally our board sections. So let's have a look at all these bits. So the first thing to look at is this shrink wrapped manual collection here. So let's rip this off. Okay, first we have this booklet here which says, read this first. And this should be our rule book, Welcome Mortals. And the usual very nice Games Workshop photography. Looks rather lavish, nice glossy pages. Painted examples of the miniatures, which is very handy. And what looks like very clear rules. And it's nice to see this technique of having a board layout on every section of the rules. That really spells things out nicely. Big artwork. There's our characters, monsters, and these are the stats for the monsters. Sadly, the monsters don't have their own stat cards for some strange reasons. It's all in the book. And they have a behaviour table which tells you what the monsters do. Because this is a cooperative game, it doesn't have an overlord. It's the players versus the creatures. There's our reference page. And here's our adventure booklet. Don't read until instructed. Alright, chill out. So this is our series of adventures. Again, lots of artwork there. And this is a bit like a sort of choose your own adventure book, a bit like Tales of the Arabian Nights as well. Various story paragraphs and things to read out as you go through the adventures, which makes it interesting. So there you go, mostly story paragraphs. Nice. Then of course we have the booklet that shows us how to put all our miniatures together. So that'll take a while. And a little card here to remind you to check out the Warhammer Quest companion app. Right, next up we've got some cards. First we have these character cards for the heroes you'll be taking through the dungeon. Nice big artwork of the miniatures themselves on the back, which is a nice touch. A bit flimsy. I would like to see these on harder card. As you can see, they're starting to bend a bit already. I just think for the price they could be on thick card. Then we've got these cards. First there's one for the Griffhound, which goes with one of the characters. Then these seem to be the cards that set up the various rooms in the dungeon as you go through. Nice large cards. And finally there are these smaller cards with the symbol of Cinch on them, which is the god of chaos that this game is based around. And these seem to be special items and things. Again, I just feel it would be nice to have an illustration of each one of these things. They're just text, which is a little boring. Just that little attention to detail, but I suppose there's quite a lot of text on these. Maybe they could have been larger cards, so it could fit an illustration as well. Slightly disappointing. Anyway, and finally we have the board sections, and there are 4 thick board sections. Now these are double-sided tiles, which is great to see. The only thing I'm disappointed in with these is that even though they're nice and thick and nice and glossy, there's no embossing on these. So unlike Space Hulk, for example, they're just completely flat. Perhaps, again, evidence of a bit of cost cutting, I don't know, but still, the artwork is quite spectacular and certainly better in person than it looked online. Very, very busy, but then this is a sorceress tower of a god of change, so kind of fits the theme. Then the only thing left are these sprues, and as usual they're a little bit hard to see when they're still on the sprue. But there's quite a lot of these very small characters, and nothing really big and chunky. I think the largest one is this one here. No, that probably comes in 2 bits. The high quality is there as usual, but there just seems to be less plastic than usual. Anyway, it does add up to 50 figures, and as always, lots of detail and high quality from Games Workshop. So that's a look inside Warhammer Quest's Silver Tower. Look, it's a good game apparently. I've seen the reviews and I think it'll be fun to play. I do think, as usual with my Games Workshop games, that I'm very frustrated at the price. It's far too expensive for what you get inside, and I just think there's evidence of cost cutting going on. Not as many miniatures as you'd like to see for the price. Not doing things like putting artwork on the individual cards, and also making the character cards out of thinner card, just things like that. I think when you're paying an absolute premium for a game, you should be getting absolutely premium components. Anyway, of course there will be a real summary up on the website, and we'll be playing this game and seeing what it's like. But that's an unboxing of Warhammer Quest Silver Tower.